All right, everybody, welcome to Petals of Positivity with your host, Chelsea D. I am here today with none other than Amber Corrine. I'm going to tell y'all who she is before y'all see who she is. I mean, maybe y'all probably seeing who she is now, but whatever. I'm going to read a little bit about her so you guys know who Amber Corrine is if you don't know, okay? So Amber Corrine is a New Jersey born and bred, multifaceted creative and staff news writer for the iconic Vibe magazine. Ahead of joining the Vibe tribe, Amber attended Keene University. Shout out to Keene. Okay, come on, Cougars.
Shout out Cougars. Let's go.
Where she obtained her bachelor's in English writing and a master's degree, hotter by 2 degrees, okay, in communication. Three. She got 3 degrees in communication and media studies. Along the way, she took a backseat to her R&B singer dreams. We gonna delve into that. And began freelancing for notable media outlets like Hip Hop DX, Hip Hop since 1987, The Griot, and more. Fortunately, she has had the opportunity to cover major cultural events like SXSW, South by Southwest, Rolling Loud, Something in the Water, Broccoli City, Summer Jam, and many more. Amber has also covered the Oscars, NAACP Image Awards, BET Hip Hop Awards, MTV, VMAs, Soul Train Awards, and more. Highlighted interviews such as Ashanti, Roxanne Shante, Timbaland, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, Lola Brooke, Lotto, Angela Yee, Angela Davis, Quavo, 2 Chainz, Method Man, Lorenz Tate, Keke Palmer, Dapper Dan, Kirk Franklin, and many, many more. Basically, if you've seen hip hop, she's been there. Anything celebrating hip hop, she's been there. Give it up for Amber Corrine. Woo! Woo. I think that last woo was off tune, but it's all good. I'm so happy that you're here.
No, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here with you. Like, claps for you on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
I'm happy to be on this journey though with you.
For sure.
Real.
It definitely is a journey. Like I think I was telling you, prior to us, the cameras rolling and everything. This has been a journey, something that fell in my spirit back in like 2014, 2015 on the campus of Keene. And I never really could understand or, I guess put together how it was going to manifest.
Yeah.
But this is the year it is manifesting as a podcast, which will also be on YouTube as well. So
and it's popping.
P.O.P. Petals of
It's
Positivity. Okay.
Absolutely.
Pop talk. Welcome to Pop Talk. So we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
So I told you the whole concept behind Petals of Positivity is like sharing words of affirmation with other people, with others, and passing it on. So like, taking that petal of positivity, passing it on to somebody, and then they pass it on to somebody else. So for you, I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to interview Amber, if I look at everything that she's doing on social, you know what I'm saying? Or even just like when I would reach out to you randomly, like, oh, hey, come to this event, or hey, can you do this podcast with me? We didn't do it, but then you still showed up to do this one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So one word that I would say in this industry, just experiencing people, the word that came to me for you was consistent.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that one.
Yes. So consistency is what we're going to be talking about today. So, I wanted to I had to the Webster Dictionary. So Webster Dictionary says agreement or harmony of parts or features to one another or a whole, right? So obviously for things to be consistent, it has to be in harmony. So I was like, okay, well then how could this relate to her? So I was like, my first question will be, how do you feel, right? Or how do you think that you being consistent with pursuing your passions has brought like harmony in your life?
Ooh, consistency. First of all, I feel like if you don't have faith in yourself, like you can't really have consistency because you're not going to keep doing something if you don't believe that it can be done.
Right.
That's how I put it. So for me, just being able to do multiple interviews, be at multiple events, it just lets me know I'm walking in my purpose in a way. And I'm actually like a crazy person if I'm not doing stuff, like if I'm not being consistent.
Right.
So it's like a gift and a curse. There's times when I don't want to do certain things because I just want to chill. But then it's like if I don't do this, I feel like I'm not doing my calling. I'm not doing, what people have learned to love me for. So yeah, that's pretty much what it's been for me. Being consistent has made me feel like I'm walking in my purpose.
Facts.
And if I wasn't doing that, like, I don't know, I'd be going crazy.
I know, right? You know what? So speaking about like what you would be doing, what you would not be doing, because I know that like you also have a background in teaching, working with kids, and that for like a good period of time you were doing both, where you were writing and then also teaching,
girl,
right? So kind of like take us on that journey where it's like you're pursuing your passions, but at the same time you were not a starving artist, because you have some people who are starving artists, and I don't know if that's like by choice, but we'll get to that's a whole nother conversation. But you were still like, I guess you could say like working with children, was that like your passion too?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was a kid, like it started when I was a kid, like I always was a singer. I was that person. My mom had bought this huge Gateway computer. You remember how like the old boxy, bulky computers? And I discovered that it had a voice recorder. I used to be on there just singing every single day. Like, and that was my passion. I wanted to be a singer.
Right.
I got into a group with like my best friends. We had a whole singing group. We would record in the studio, perform at events and stuff. And then once we got older, it kind of like, you know, you get to this point, everybody goes their separate ways. We go to college, some do this, some do that. We stopped. And then at that point, I was like, you know, now I'm just singing for fun. Like, I don't even want to pursue, you know, a career. So, you know, after that, I ended up just doing internships and started writing about artists. So it's like I went from being in front of the camera to like, quote unquote, behind the camera.
Right.
You know, that's how that happened. And then me teaching, that just fell into my lap. Like as a senior in high school, I remember someone came in, we're looking for students to do after school teaching. I did that, and I don't know, like I just stayed in education up until I got that opportunity to take that leap of faith and get out of there. And that was always my thing. Like teaching was my passion, music was my passion. Like it never, one never really outweighed the other. It was like, you know, if this music thing don't work, then I'm going to be teaching. If this teacher thing don't work, then I'm going to be doing this, you know? So equally, they were both passions, but I told myself every year I would be like, September comes around, I'm not teaching. Like this summer, this is going to be my last summer, you know? September come around, I'm not teaching. And then, you know, I got that opportunity and I was out of there. But as far as like juggling both, I was that person. I would be, you know, I taught preschool, and just to let y'all know, that's not no easy work. Like it's really not no easy work. We do lesson plan and all of that. But I was teaching, and I would be that person when my students are sleeping. I'm on my phone creating graphics. I'm on my phone checking my email, seeing what events I could hit up, what interviews I could do. Like literally juggling that. And then it wasn't even just music. Teaching in media. It was teaching media in school. So like I would teach in the morning, let's say 8 to 3. Sometimes go to classes at night, and then on the weekends or whenever I have an evening I don't have classes, I'm in New York or wherever doing an event. So like I've always juggled all these different things, but I always knew music was my passion, but I don't think it trumped teaching. I just knew like if I don't get an opportunity to do all the things that I love, like I'm gonna go crazy. So once I got that opportunity, you know, I took it and I ran with it.
Absolutely.
And it was lucrative. It's not like, you know, I was getting more. I was benefiting more from it. So. Yeah, I just waited for that right opportunity.
That's amazing. So, like, I mean, like, okay, I would say, let me ask you this: what would you say was the journey like being a freelance writer? Like, kind of take us through that experience, you know, because obviously you've written for like a lot of different outlets. Take us through that.
First of all, I want to say shout out to all the freelancers, because right now what is going on in media is nuts. You know, a lot of people are getting laid off, especially, and they're getting rid of the writers first. They're getting rid of the freelancers first. The ones who are telling the stories, who are, you know, continuing, making history pretty much, documenting history. You know, and they're getting rid of them. And I feel like, you know, eventually they want to have it where we're not the ones doing this. It's going to be AI and all this other stuff. And you need that human approach and that human touch to stories. So I want to start off by saying that. But as a freelancer, it had its pros and cons. Of course, freelancing, you get to pick projects that you want to do. You're not, you know, constrained to just this contract where it's like, oh, you can't work with any competition. Like you can do what you want pretty much. So when I was freelancing, the only thing that I didn't like about that was the pay, of course, is not great. You know, it's not great. Sometimes you don't get paid at all. Because, you know, they look at it like, oh, you should rather want the opportunity and the exposure versus being able to pay your bills. You know, so that was something that wasn't great. And also just kind of having like authority. Like I didn't really have a lot of authority. I had to like take what I can get in a way. And just not stability. It wasn't stable for me. You know, of course, like you said, I was a teacher. That was my plan A. But I was like, I have to teach and I have to do media at the same time, because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to survive and take care of myself. So that was definitely something that I didn't enjoy doing, but it was fun just doing different projects. I will say that, but the pay was not it. It was not it.
But so let me ask you this then. Do you think that like it was worth it because of the opportunity, the exposure to like, different artists and
Absolutely. Like I'll put it like this. I feel like I learned the ropes of journalism the most when I worked at Hip.1 under the editor I was with.
Okay.
I would say just him specifically. Like he taught me the ropes.
Who was that?
Trent Clark.
Okay.
So shout outs to you, Trent. Also, I will say another person, Riley Wallace. He was who I wrote for before he was the one who took a chance on me, to put it that way.
Nice.
I was graduating college, and at that point, I don't know what happened, but I know he couldn't offer me college credit to like write for him.
Right.
So he was like, if you just want the exposure and like the experience, I'll give that to you. So he was kind of the one who like got my feet wet, but like learning like how to actually write a news story, how to like make it concise. I learned that at Hip.1.
Nice. Shout outs to Hip.1.
Right. So of course, if I wouldn't have had those type of experiences and opportunities, I wouldn't have met half the people that I met. I wouldn't have done a lot of the interviews that I did.
Right.
And I wouldn't have been able to build my name and actually, show people what I can do if it wasn't for freelancing. Because at that time, I had applied to I don't know how many opportunities and got denied.
Right.
So when I started actually getting opportunities in media, it was from all the freelancing that I did, and people started knowing who I was. And it's like, oh no, she's like, we can count on her. Like she's the one. So absolutely, the exposure, all of that, it was worth it.
Right. And
but the pay, no.
There comes in the consistency.
Yeah.
Right. Like still putting yourself out there, even though the pay wasn't much.
Yeah. Right.
Sometimes I'll be thinking too, like when I find myself in opportunities like that, where it's like, yo, am I really out here like going hard and struggling? And then you think about it, and it's like, you know what? Somebody else would kill to do what I'm doing. And, you know what I'm saying?
That's to be honest.
So that's usually like my saving grace.
I was gonna say the same thing. When I get in those moments when like I'm like, yo, I don't want to do this, and then I really have to remind myself like, yo, you're in this position because you're supposed to be, and because you worked hard to get here.
Exactly.
So like, there's people out there, just especially right now in the media space, people who are looking for jobs, just looking for opportunities. I'm blessed to be in a stable position right now where I don't have to worry. At least right now, I don't have to worry.
That's a blessing. As a writer, yes.
So yes, it's the same for me. Like same exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, all right. Let's talk a little bit about your interviewing experiences.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see. Who's an artist that you've interviewed with, or actually, who's an artist that you have not interviewed yet that you want to interview?
This is my camera right here.
This your camera right there. Okay, because we done seen a lot of your interviews, but who's someone that you want to interview with? Tell them right now. Okay.
Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
Michael B. Jordan. I'm waiting for you. I'm just saying.
I cannot.
It's not, no, to be honest, like it's not even really about
that he look good and he fine.
No, I really do want to talk to him about being from Jersey and just Newark, growing up in Newark.
For sure, yeah.
And I've always been a fan since he was like Wallace on The Wire and all that. Like, so
right.
I think he's an interesting person that I would want to talk to. So
yeah,
I've been manifesting that. Like,
okay,
met him twice.
Met
him twice, but it didn't happen.
Right. I think you were like courtside. Okay, all right now. I saw that, girl. You gotta do my homework now.
He saw
it too. Okay, now.
Sure, if he didn't, look.
All right, Michael B. Jordan. Listen, we are putting this out there in the atmosphere. Amber Corrine would like to do a one-on-one interview with you.
Yes, and I won't be crazy. I won't fan out. I promise I won't. Professional.
All right. Always. So, all right, and then what was an interview moment that you had where you were like, This actually went left. This didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. Because I feel like those moments happen, right? When you kind of like have the build up, like, oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
And then you get there and you're like, oh my God, that's you?
Chelsea. Okay, I'm going to share this story. This is the first time I've talked about this publicly.
Okay.
But I will not, like I said, I will not give that
exclusive.
person, I will not give that person energy by saying their name. But I will say what happened.
Okay.
Because they talked about it publicly too. They just didn't say my name or what happened.
Uh-huh.
But a very popular actress slash comedian slash activist, I guess you can say. Okay, so yeah, this person's team reached out to me.
Okay, let's start there.
Because I don't, to be honest, and I'm not trying to toot my, I don't really reach out a lot of times. Like, people reach out to me. That's how publicists are.
That's what publicists do, yeah.
I get reached out by this team. we want to bring this person in, very last notice, very last minute, but I find a way to get them in. You can come into the office. And I'm not going to lie, some of this was a little bit of my fault too. And just because I didn't do my due diligence. So I was sent a press release about a project that they had coming out. And, you know, I did my research. I looked at every interview they did about that project. I watched like a trailer of it, all of that. One thing that I did not do, and I'll take fault for that, I did not comb through my email to see that I was actually sent a full thing of the project.
Okay.
So I'm going off of what I saw in the trailer. I'm going off of what I've already read about it. I'm going off what this person has said about it.
Right.
But I can still formulate questions. You know, like I just don't have specific details because I didn't watch the whole thing. That's to my fault.
Okay.
So, you know, this person comes in already hostile, coming in very hostile to the point you walk in the room. You're not even like, hi, like you just come in with your food, sit down to eat. And everybody's just looking like, I'm like, I have to go to you. Hi, I'm Amber Corrine. I'll be interviewing you today. That type of energy.
Okay.
So it already started off a little weird, you know? We get into the interview. You know, I'm asking questions. Before we get into the interview, this person says, oh, did you get a chance to watch the thing? Because we sent it to you. So at that point, I haven't combed through my email. So I'm like, no, nobody sent me this thing. I haven't seen it. Not knowing that it was in there. I just didn't comb through. But I'm just, you know, off default, I thought I didn't see it. So they're like, okay, well, if you didn't see it, how are you going to interview me? Which is valid. But I still formulated questions where I can talk to you about it. At least we can have a conversation about it.
Right.
Midway through the interview, I asked a question pertaining to the project. Literally in the middle of the interview, they stop and say, I'm not answering that because you didn't watch it.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm taken back. I've never had a knock on. Well, that's my first one. I've never had a bad experience with anybody interviewing. They say, you know, I'm not answering that. You didn't watch it. So I go, okay, let's move on. So I'm asking about other things. Towards the end of the interview, I try to double back and see if I can still ask this question, but in a different way. Right. Like you'll still talk about it, even though you know I ain't see it, but you can still let the people out there know about it.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm not. Then I just tell you like earlier, like I'm not answering that. So at this point, this interview is not an interview no more. Now it's like, yeah, and I don't really like your energy. I'm like, I don't feel like I'm saying anything wrong. I'm like, but, you know, we're just going back and forth. I'm not to get into details. We're going back and forth at this point. Very unprofessional. This person tells me, you can just leave. Like, you can just get up and leave.
You could just leave?
Yeah, I can leave.
You were there at your job.
Yes. They told me you can leave, and the cameraman, he could finish the interview.
Are you serious?
Yes. So I got up. I'm like, you know what? I don't got to take this. I get up, get ready to head towards the door. I'm like, you know what? I knew this was going to happen. This is what I say. She heard me. Oh, see, that's the attitude right there. I walk out. She finishes the thing with my cameraman. I'm thinking it's nothing. Like, you know, I'm like, I go in the bathroom and I'm very emotional because, like I said, I've never had an experience like that. Yeah. This person was very rude, very nasty. Like I said, I'm gonna tell you off camera. You're gonna be, okay.
But let me ask you this: Did you expect that from them, or you didn't expect that from them? Because I feel
here's
like
another funny story.
Crying.
This is another funny story. Before this person came, I was talking to my camera guy. He goes, yeah, you know, I already had experiences with this person. I don't really mess with them like that. I tell him, yo, today might be different. I'm like they might come in here and it might be different. Like y'all might hatch out whatever problems are.
Right.
I'm the one that ends up with the problem. Like, and he ends up doing the interview. And,
are you serious?
Yeah. I leave, like I said, I'm thinking it's over about maybe 2 a.m. I go on this person's Instagram because I'm just like curious to see like, you know, what's going on. This person does, I want to say maybe a 7-video rant about what happened.
Are you serious?
Not naming the interviewer, not naming the outlet.
Okay.
But literally going on a rant about, because I'm a veteran and I need to be respected. And this is what she was saying during the interview as well. Like, I've been doing this for something years. You need to talking to me crazy. And at that point, and I had a whole conversation after that because I had to say, you know what, Amber, you got to remember, you're in here. Of course, you're representing yourself, but you're also representing the brand. This is not your stuff. Right. You know. So that was me scaling it back. But in that moment, Amber from Irvington, New Jersey, came out, and we had it out. You know.
Oh my God.
That was that. They made videos about it. I had, meetings with who I needed to have meetings with. And we talked about it. And at the end of the day, I thank Vibe magazine because y'all had my back. Right. And it wasn't like you were wrong. They didn't say I was wrong. Like they told me where I could have done better and not have been combative with this person.
Well, that's good.
But they had my back.
Some brands would be like, you've ruined this relationship that we have with, you know. But it's good to know that you're with a company or a brand rather that has your back. Yeah. Like anybody will want to, feel like at least y'all got me.
Exactly. But yeah, that
was a learning moment.
That was a learning moment. Craziest interview I ever had in my life. It didn't even have, I guess you could say, half interview.
Right.
Craziest moment ever.
Because she told you to leave at your job.
She asked me to get up. And the crazy thing is, we were rolling that whole time. So this whole thing is, we have this whole thing on tape and everything.
Yes. Oh wait, they were. He was rolling. The camera was rolling
the whole time.
The camera was rolling the whole. Did you watch the back and forth?
Of course I did.
Oh my
I had
God.
to sit with who I had to sit with and watch it together. Like,
oh my
so we can be like, oh yeah, right here you could have did this better. You know, yeah.
Not them pushing pause, like, and then right here when she told you that you needed to.
But you know what? I was so grateful that it was on tape, because if this person did try to expose my name and outlet and try to say what didn't happen,
you could.
I got the proof right there.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But yeah, I would never unless I needed to. But that was it.
That's crazy. Well, I'm curious to see who that person is.
I'll tell you off camera.
You gotta give me to see on that.
Definitely not on camera.
So, all right. I was gonna also ask you, like, I guess, share an experience or an interview that has you feeling your most vulnerable.
My most vulnerable.
Yes. Like, even though you were interviewing them.
Yeah.
Maybe some questions they bounced back at you had you like, oh my God, I gotta be a little bit transparent here.
I feel like that's happened so many times.
Yeah.
One that kind of stands out maybe two that kind of stands out right now. I interviewed Kiara Sheard a long time ago.
Oh, we love her.
And she ended up, we had a great, but it kind of turned into a sermon. And she was like speaking to me.
Wow.
Speaking to me to the point where I'm like, she doesn't even know what I'm going through right now. Like
right.
Like I could cry right now on this phone. That was something that was very powerful, very touching for me. I think also, who else? Maybe Kirk Franklin and Notori, like they were very like spiritual too. Like
right.
When I spoke with Taraji P. Henson, like she spoke life into me, and I felt like, wow, I just want to listen to what you got to say. So, like, you know, I've definitely had those moments with people who have just spoken into me, and I'm just like, you know, I feel like the tables are turning right now. So,
So do you feel like because I even saw recently, and forgive me, I'm forgetting the girl's name, but there was an interview where she was doing, it was a press junket for Color Purple. Mm-hmm. And I think you may have seen the video going viral too, where she was, Fantasia was basically like speaking life into her.
Yeah,
she
absolutely.
had, you know, her faith and everything.
I've seen it.
And it was so beautiful. The interview was in tears. You know what I'm saying? So like, I guess, like, for you, do you find those interviews to be more impactful where, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a vulnerability on both sides, and it's like y'all both are leaving away with something, like, you know?
Absolutely. I feel like sometimes I talk to people, and it literally feels like interviewer and subject.
Right.
And then there's other people I talk to, and we start talking about my family, their family.
Right,
I'm telling them, you know, I'm telling them how we're similar, and it feels like I'm talking to a human. It doesn't feel interviewer celebrity. It feels human.
Right.
So yeah, I always feel like those type of interviews I love, because it just reminds me like I'm talking to a human first, not a celebrity.
Exactly.
You know? And that keeps me humble, and I feel like, you know, hopefully they've remained humble. So
well, then let me even ask you this: do you feel like those interviews mainly happen with people who have like this spiritual side to them?
I think that
they talk about, at least.
I think that aspect, and also those who have been through something. I seem to, you know, a lot of people who speak life, like they've been through stuff. Like when you think of Fantasia, like I said, Taraji, Kirk Franklin, Kiara Sheard, like Sheard, all of those people, they've been through something. And I'm not saying, you know, everybody hasn't been through something, but the ones who have really, at least in my experience, I know like they've been through things,
like going through things and healed and all that stuff like that, and they can come out on the other side and encourage people. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's good to hear. I'm happy that you have those moments.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Sometimes I can't believe like this is what I get to do every day.
No, that's really good, because you know. What I wanted to ask you too was just like, you know, like outside of covering hip hop, because obviously I know that you love it, that's one of your passions, but like what else do you see yourself covering, like other topics you would like to talk about, you know, stuff like that? Like what else do you see yourself doing?
One thing I've been trying to make sure, you know, because I work in a newsroom, so it's like right now entertainment is what gets you those clicks, like writing about who's dating, who, new music, that gets you those clicks. But what I've been trying to do is write more about like things that are going on in Black culture, whether it's just like laws, or it's like, you know, what's happening in another country, genocide, all kinds of, you know, I try to cover, whether it's LGBTQ issues. Like I try to cover all different aspects. Because not only do I want to educate our audience, but I'm educating myself as well. You know, when you get so consumed in just writing about entertainment and stuff, like you forget that there's other stuff happening in the world. You know, so I've been trying to just put those stories out there to our audience. But yeah, definitely, like I said, more Black issues, cultural issues, worldly issues, health issues, because I feel like as a woman, I am 32. Right. You know, but the body's changing. Things are happening. And, you know, I would like to dive more into that, like women's health, women's issues. Because, you know, I work for, like you said, a hip hop magazine. And back in the day, you know, of course, they would have segments that just focused on like women, like whether it's our vixen stuff. But I want to get back to that, just talking about like women issues.
Well, you know, speaking of women's issues, and we're talking about hip hop and women's issues. Yeah. What's your thoughts on Nicki Minaj and Meg Thee Stallion, girl? I got to get your tea on that.
Okay.
We got to talk about it.
I will say this. Let me say this first and foremost. Before there was Meg Thee Stallion, I was a barb. Okay. I've listened to Nicki since I was like middle school, high school, you know. But
I am not dragon. I am a lad.
My introduction to Meg Thee Stallion was going to South by Southwest.
Okay.
And this was maybe 2018, 2017. She was big in her city, big in Texas.
Right.
But she wasn't signed yet. She was still 1501, but she wasn't signed to a major, nothing. And this girl hit the stage. Mind you, I'm at this event. It's empty. Like, people, you know, it's specks of people.
Yeah.
This girl hits the stage. I turn around. It's like a whole crowd of people there to see her. Like, they pulled up for her. And it was nothing but women.
Right.
Literally women.
Right.
And from there, I was hooked. Like, I heard her rap. She had this little dance that she used to do before she started twerking and all that. She had this dance she used to do.
Okay.
And I fell in love. Like, I remember right after that, I downloaded Tina Snow. And this was before they put Tina Snow on, like, they had re-released it after she got signed.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I'm listening to that.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I fell in love. Like, I fell in love. So, I believe, I will say this. Nicki Minaj is the GOAT when it comes to her lyrics, being clever, being witty. She will really make you go Google some stuff that she said, or like have to double back and be like, wait, oh, now I get it. You know, Meg, I love her sex appeal. Like, I love how she can be confident in her words. Like, you know, I love the way she just rides a beat. I've always said, like, I feel like she comes from the school of like Trina, like somebody who's just like effortlessly has sex appeal, and they don't really have to, you know, try too hard. So I will say that, but I will say when it comes to lyricism, I have Nicki. When it comes to the song that I might actually listen to and like on repeat, I'll give it to Meg. I can't really pick. I'm always gonna be Team Nicki Minaj, you know. But I respect that they put it on wax. I don't agree with everything that's been said.
Facts.
I don't. But I respect that they're putting it on wax. I'll put it that way.
When I look at all the women in the industry, I have to say her creativity is unmatched in terms of like where she's taken it, where she's kept it,
all the different
personas.
She's reinvented herself so many times,
right?
So many times,
right?
Yeah.
You know, so like, it's like it stays there. Yeah. But man, when she gets triggered, ooh,
run for cover.
Okay,
run for cover.
Know, I ain't like the mention of the mamas and all that. I didn't like, you know, dead parents. I don't think that that's cool.
Yeah,
I won't agree with everything, you know. But yeah. That's my opinion on it. But
it's hard. It's just hard because you know what? Like, people will bring up the point of like, you know, well, did you remember what Biggie said about somebody's kid and a condom and all? And then they'll say, you know, do you remember what Nas said, or you know? And then it's like they've said some crazy things too, you know. So I guess Nicki comes from that school where she's like, it doesn't matter, it don't matter. But
off limits.
You know where we are in 2024, everything is like it's a different time.
It's a different time.
You can't say things that you used to be able to say and get away with it. Like, everybody gets canceled. So it's like
facts. I think, and that's like across the board with anything, right? It's like we're in a time of like extreme cultural sensitivity, and it's almost like is that a good thing or is it a bad? It's almost like this weird space of it's like people are more aware and mindful. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, it's like people are more aware and mindful. You know what I mean? Like, just from the comments, oh, why would you do that?
You know,
cancel culture, all kinds of stuff.
The last thing I will say about the Megan Nicki thing is I just wish that my good sis Nicki would have dropped the cover and said nothing.
Yes.
That's it.
That was, for me, it was like, I felt like she kind of took away from the kick that it could have had.
Yes.
Because she gave us so many teasers.
The song was literally what she tweeted. It was literally what she tweeted.
Oh, wait, we heard that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It was
like, no, I said the same thing. I wish she would have dropped the cover. I agree with that. Kept it pushing. And we would like,
right. You know what I'm saying? Like the Bigfoot line. I was like, oh, that was actually get up on your good foot. Yeah. Okay, that was good.
Yeah.
But you said that already.
Yeah. I mean,
still love you, Nikki.
We're gonna see what happens. Like, I don't know if it's over. What? She said she has 4 more songs for her already ready to go. So we're gonna see.
All right.
See. Keep it on wax.
4 more bullets in the clip.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not surprised.
Ciao. So, all right. What else I wanted to ask you? Okay. So we talked about consistency, remaining consistent and everything like that. Have you had, I guess, like, just in terms of, like, your journey, the career that you've carved out for yourself, the journey you've carved out for yourself, right? Because everybody's journey is different. Right. But I guess, like, along the way, in terms of, like, preserving your identity, preserving, your approach, your brand and everything, like, how have you found it to be, like, found your way to make that consistent and not do what everyone else is doing? Because there's so many people out here doing interviews. I was doing interviews. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many people doing it. But, like, how have you carved out your space to make it your own?
I think one thing I will say, I feel that is my superpower in a way, is when I'm interviewing people, I try to connect with them on, like, a human approach. This is why a lot of my interviews, like, we end up talking about something else. Like, now I know about your family, you don't know about mine. And I just love when somebody can say, like, this was a great interview. Like, it feels like a conversation. It doesn't even feel like, like, I've had people say, I feel like I know you already. I think just not so much caring about the end goal of the interview, but, like, the journey and, like, what are you learning, and caring about the subject and caring about what story is it that they want to put out to the world and the story that you're helping them to create. Because, like, as a writer, you're pretty much an artist. As a journalist, you're an artist. An interviewer, you're an artist. Yeah. You're pretty much narrating somebody's story to have the best version of it out or to make somebody want to know. So I think that's what, just me having that type of focus in mind and just being humanistic. Is that a word? Humanistic?
You know what? But it fits. It's befitting.
Whatever. But
with it.
Just trying to connect in that way and make them feel comfortable and like, hey, you might look at me as like an interview, but I'm from Irvington. Like, I know I can talk the talk, and walk the walk. So I think that's been what's kind of differentiated me is just I feel like I'm more personable. I try to be personable and not just so professional and like do things by the book.
That you become robotic.
Like you got to know when to turn it on and off.
So even with I would say let's talk a little bit personal, right? Like, how have you kind of like compartmentalized? Do you compartmentalize those two? Like, you keep your personal, and your interview styling, all that stuff. Do you keep it separate? Long story short,
as far as like my personality and like as far as like,
well, I mean, like your personality, your personal life. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you feel like you keep that separate? Do you feel like you need to protect yourself, to preserve?
I do to a certain extent. But when there's an opportunity to like connect on something, then I don't mind diving in a little bit, depending on what it is. But for the most part, I do try to keep them separate. But sometimes it's hard because like I show up as myself every single time. Right. Like even like sometimes in my stories, I've been told like, hey, you gotta take that out of there because that like you sounding like a fan, like when I'm writing about somebody, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's just because like who I am and how I feel about is coming out. This is just who I am. Right. I try to show up as myself no matter what.
What's wrong with you sounding like a fan? You know what I'm saying?
In the news world,
I guess like
it's supposed to be
a little conflicting, is objective.
Yeah, they want it to sound very straightforward, very facts only. You know. But I try to show up as myself, and no matter what the situation is, whether I'm interviewing somebody, whether I'm talking to the custodians that work at my job, like I show up as myself.
As yourself, right? You mentioned something earlier, AI.
Yeah.
Who child?
Yeah.
Like, where do you think? Let me get your opinion on like how do you really think that that's going to affect the news and the writing world in terms of like being a creative writer?
It's already started. Like it's already crazy. Started. To the point where we're using some of it when it comes to like SEO and like headlines and like we've played around with it. so it's definitely coming to the point where it's coming. Like, it's coming. And it's unfortunate because so many people, like I said, are losing their jobs. And it's going to be to the point where, like, we don't need humans in the room doing it no more.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is with that, it's like, but is it real? You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I meant earlier when I'm like, you still need that human touch.
Yeah. But anyway, but with AI, it's like, I don't know, it's just gonna be robotic, right? But that's what I was going to ask you. It just came back to me. So with AI, like, do you find that it is efficient in terms of, like you were saying, like for SEO, for like research and stuff like that, to get your job done faster?
I will say it's efficient in that aspect, getting it done faster, getting it done faster, getting more out, sooner. But you still gotta, even when you use AI, you still gotta go in and add your own, touch to it. It's helpful, but I feel like in the same way, it's going to end up being harmful to people who need their jobs and people, who have a passion for this, and they're not being able to express themselves through their creativity because something has come in and taken over, and it's not right and it's not fair.
It's not right.
But I think it's helpful, but it's going to become harmful.
I agree with you. I think that when it comes to the arts, I don't think AI should really be involved. Like, they're doing AI art. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And it actually looks good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's crazy. Yeah. But all right, I'm going to flip this back to the word consistent. And since we're wrapping up here, what is something that you would want to tell, not your younger self, but someone who's essentially in the shoes that you were once in, to get from that point to where you are? And then my last question for you, when you answered that, is where do you see the legacy of your journalism taking you when you reach your pinnacle, whatever that is for you? Yeah.
So which one you want me to answer first?
I don't even know, girl, but just go on in.
What I would tell to someone who's in the shoes that I was once in years ago, don't be afraid to speak up.
Facts.
For what you want. Don't be afraid to share your ideas, because your ideas are the best ideas. I don't care what nobody says. You have the best idea. Don't be scared to do that. If you believe in something truly, do not give up on that, because you know what? A lot of the ideas that you might have, and people are telling you no, and you just accept that. Next thing you know, they're doing it, or somebody else is doing it, and that could have been you. So don't be afraid. Always show up as yourself. Stay true to yourself. Keep yourself surrounded by people who knew you before you became who you are going to become. Right. That's been very great for me. And yeah, just like I said, just believe in yourself. That it sounds so cliche, but believe in yourself. Facts. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will, and nobody's going to go hard for you like you could go for yourself. So always be your best fan. That's what I would say. Period.
And then the last question, where do you see yourself?
Oh, the pinnacle, right?
Yes. Once you reach the pinnacle of wherever that is for you, whatever success looks like to you. Yeah. Though you are successful now, but I'm just saying, like, whatever that ultimate thing is for you.
It's so hard to answer that, and like, it's going to just, I just want whatever it's supposed to be for me. Like, I feel like so many times I've made expectations for myself, and sometimes they don't go through. Or like, I thought like, oh, by now I'm going to have X, Y, and Z, and I still ain't got it. So it's like, of course I want to be successful, but I want what's supposed to be for me to be for me at that time. And I just hope, I'm healthy and living and able to still do it. That's it. Right. That's it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Amber Corrine, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you,
appreciate
Chelsea.
You so much. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to be touching the mic. Don't touch the mic. Don't touch the mic.
No, this is amazing.
This was good. I wish we could, we can definitely have longer. We'll do this again.
Okay.
We'll circle
I'll
back.
come back.
I'll definitely circle back. But you are the first person to grace the Petals of
I'm very happy. I'm very happy about
this. And we love it.
No, this was amazing. Great questions. Amazing interview.
Yes.
Interviewer to interviewer.
Right. But it was good. I enjoyed it. This was good. This was good. All right, y'all.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Or cut.
Okay.